was born in Niger and migrated to the U.S. at age 13. He graduated at the top of his class from Garinger High School and was a recipient of the Gates Millennium Scholarship, and he also received nearly $500,000 in other scholarships for his college education. Yanick attended North Carolina A&T University and he transferred to UNC Charlotte to be a leader. 49ers! To be a leader in this church. In 2018, Yanick received a bachelor's degree in mechanical engineering and now works for a German company in Mooresville, North Carolina as an engineer. Ladies and gentlemen, Yanick Gomez.
I think I'm going to be a little bit more comfortable with the mic in my hands. Good morning.
Good morning.
You guys look beautiful. Would you give yourselves a clap? Alright. So, it's a great privilege to be standing before you today and to share my little story. But it's also a great responsibility. As I stand here, I look at a room full of men and women that can actually change the world. Believe it or not, children are the future, and the world as we will see it tomorrow depends on you, because those children, those students, whether it's elementary, all the way through high school, all depend on what they receive from you. And you guys have the power to actually change lives and change the world. And a lot of people like to think that they have that power. Very few people actually do, but you guys actually have it. And so from me, from the students that you're going to have in your classrooms, and I'd like to tell you that being a teacher sometimes is a thankless job, and you may not hear this, and so I stand as a representation of any ungrateful fool out there that does not understand that your jobs are important. I want to tell you that I appreciate you. And if you would give yourself a clap, because you guys are amazing. So quickly, I don't have much time here, but I want us to go on a journey. And I'm just going to talk to you a little bit about my life, about my story, and how some particular teachers have impacted my life. I was born in Niger, like it was said in the introduction. And I was born to, obviously, a mother and a father, right? And funny thing is that my grandparents are actually, you might have noticed, you're like, so who's this black kid that has a Hispanic last name and is born in Africa? And so I was born to a father who had obviously his grandparents moved to Africa. They were from Spain and Portugal, and hence the name Gomez. I was born in Niger, where I grew up until I moved here when I was 13 years old. And I grew up speaking French, and I'm saying all of these things for a purpose. And I have some family in France. I have some, on my mom's side, I have grandparents who are German. So I'm just a mix of different cultures, and this is going to matter in just a moment. But I just want us to take this journey. If you're ready, say ready.
Ready.
If you're ready, say ready.
Ready.
All right, so I started at Garinger High School, and I'd like to talk about a few particular teachers that have touched my life, that have impacted me. When I came, I was 13 years old, so normally, in order to start in the 9th grade, you would have to be 14 years old. And when I came, I took the placement test, and I placed into either the 8th or the 9th grade, And obviously in life, any opportunity that you have to go forward faster, you want to take that opportunity. So I looked for that opportunity. And when I asked for that opportunity, there was two particular women, Mrs. Manigat and Mrs. Ratley, that decided to give me an opportunity. Shout opportunity.
Opportunity.
They gave me an opportunity. They said, hey, I know that you're younger, and we thought that you might not be mature, but we're just going to give you this opportunity anyways. So they gave me the opportunity to start in the 9th grade. I started in the 9th grade. I had two sisters that were also at Garinger High School. And when I started, I came, believe it or not, with zero English. Never spoke a word of English. I only spoke French. So I did go through the ESL program. I had a special teacher. Her name was Mrs. Iorio. Rather, I take that back. It's Mrs. Toski. That was my first teacher. I was in the ESL program for about 1 year. And during that year, I learned all the fundamentals, all the basics that I needed to be able to obviously learn the English language. And Mrs. Toski, after 1 year, looked at me in the eyes and said, I think you're ready. And I said, ready for what? She's like, I think it's time for you to exit the ESL program. And at that time, I was definitely not confident in my English skills. I definitely didn't think I had it. And I really didn't want to leave because of 3 reasons. 1, I actually like her because of her teaching. And 2, I actually liked that class because it was my easiest class. You know, so I was just like, hey, it's gonna be kind of like a free block for me. So I definitely had that attachment to that class. So she was an encourager. She looked at me, even when I didn't see the potential in myself. She said, hey, you ready? And she just threw me out there. So from there, I went on to start taking honor classes, and I started excelling in my classes. And I did all of these things that I didn't think I had the ability to do. But she had to believe in me. Say potential.
Potential.
Every child that you're going to see in those classrooms, they have potential, and you need to be able to see that potential in them. I went on to meet another exceptional teacher. Her name was Mrs. Washington. Mrs. Washington was a woman that always instilled reality in us. As you would expect in any classroom, there are some bad seeds. And most of the time, some students would give her trouble. And she always tell them, you know, I wish I could hit you guys. And please don't do that in your classroom. But she said, I believe that life will hit you harder than I can. And those words, that reality that she said, stuck with me, and it never really hit hard, it never really hit home. Until in 2014, when I was in college and I lost my father. That really hit home. Life started happening, life started hitting. And it is your responsibility to instill that reality into those students, to make them understand that yes, you think that you think that you're prepared for the world, but there's so much out there that you're going to encounter. It is up to you to prepare them for that real world. I'd like to think of another man called Mr. Ford. Probably many of you know him or heard of him. When I think of that man, I think of identity. I think of character. Never have I seen any other teacher with so much identity, with so much character, with so much belief and pride in who he is and in what he believed in, and in his thought that he could change the lives of every single student in his classroom. And he believed that with all of his heart. And that is something that you will need as you are going into those classrooms, is that you need to believe. You need to have identity in who you are. Know that whatever is in your heart, that God has placed in your heart for you to touch those children matters, and it will change lives. And so I was thinking, I wanted to leave you with something that you will remember. And as I was doing my preparation, I like to always leave with a word in mind that would kind of stick with you for a while. and I thought of a word, and it was catalyst. I was thinking, what word could describe all of these beautiful women and men that want to change the world? And that word is catalyst. Now, I love to read books, and I believe that one of my favorite books is the Bible. So I'd like to take a few scriptures from the Bible. It says, "The kingdom of God is like yeast that a woman took, mixed it into about 60 pounds of flour until it worked all the way through." See, when I thought about catalyst, I thought about that verse, and I thought about yeast. If you have ever baked anything or ever used yeast, you know that yeast is a catalyst. And what is a catalyst? A catalyst is a substance that increases the rate of a chemical reaction without itself going any permanent chemical change. Think of that definition. You are going to go into some classrooms where you're going to see some students fighting, some students cursing. It's not always going to be rosy. And you need to be a catalyst. A catalyst is someone that when challenges come, when hard times come, they don't break. They have this passion, that passion for what they do. And I see that, and I believe that all of you here are passionate about your profession. Because obviously you didn't do it for money. Because teachers are the most underpaid, underappreciated profession. So you guys need to be catalysts. People that bring growth in all areas. That student is the dough. You are that yeast, you are that catalyst. You bring growth. It would take more than just your curriculum for you to change your life. It would involve you touching not only the mind, but it would involve you using your heart, using that passion, touching the life of those students. But even greater than that, it's hard for us to accept it, but you will need God. You will need God through that journey. You will need strength. You will need some faith. Because things are going to come to break you as you're going through those things. It's not always going to be rosy. And these people, look, I just want to just take a minute, look at the person next to you. Look around the room, look behind you. All of these people around you, they are your support network. When you start going through some challenges and some hard times, the people right next to you, right behind you, are going to be your support system through everything. I appreciate everything that my teachers have done for me. And I mentioned a few of them that were very critical to my growth, critical to my achievements. Even when you heard that I received all of these scholarships, I didn't do it just because it was just me. It was people, there were people there were teachers that believed in me. Even when I wanted to apply, I didn't think I was going to be able to achieve all of these things, but they believed in me. At times when I didn't even believe in myself. And you need to believe in the potential of every child there and look them in their eyes and make them realize their potential, because 10 years ago when I walked into that school, I didn't realize my potential. And so all of those teachers have impacted my life. And to all of these teachers and to you who are world changers, who can change our communities, our countries, I say thank you. And this is my time.